Noah was a child with a special talent. He loved painting the sea. Even though he lived in the city and the ocean was only a distant memory in his mind, his imagination took him to underwater worlds full of life and color. In his room, the walls were covered with drawings of golden fish, pink octopuses, and green crabs that seemed to come to life with every brushstroke. With his colors and brushes, Noah invented marine creatures never seen before, and every day, his fantasy world grew bigger. But his favorite time of the year came when he visited his grandfather in a small coastal town. There, from the window of his room, he could hear the sea crashing against the rocks and the seagulls gliding across the sky. The salty air filled his lungs, and at night, the sound of the waves lulled him to sleep. Every morning, Noah would run to the beach with his sketchbook and watercolors. He would sit on the sand and gaze at the horizon, letting the sea breeze whisper new ideas for his paintings. His hands, quick and skillful, turned the paper into a mirror of the sea, capturing its restless waters and the secrets hidden in its depths. When he returned to the city, Noah deeply missed his grandfather's house. One night, while having dinner with his family, he expressed his wish to always be there. "I wish I could sleep in Grandpa's house every night," he said wistfully. His father smiled and leaned toward him conspiratorially. "You can," he said. "You can travel there in your dreams." "How?" Noah asked, intrigued. "Before you fall asleep, as you lie in bed and feel your eyes closing?" Before you fall asleep, as you lie in bed and feel your eyes closing, take a deep breath. Then, imagine every detail of Grandpa's room. Think about the color of the walls when night falls, the scent of wood and salt in the air, the sound of the waves when the window is open. Noah listened in awe. "And remember even the smallest detail," his father continued. "Like the tiny hole in the wall where Grandpa hung your painting. If you visualize it clearly, your mind will take you there. Every night, you can travel to Grandpa's house and feel like you're in the place you love so much." That night, Noah followed his father's instructions. He settled into bed, took a deep breath, and let his mind paint every corner of the room in the coastal town. First, he recalled the color of the walls, that soft blue that reflected the moonlight when night fell. He imagined the texture of the wooden floor, which creaked softly with each step. He visualized his grandfather's old dresser with its slightly foggy mirror and drawers full of tiny marine treasures. Slowly, the sounds of city traffic faded, replaced by the murmur of the sea. Noah could almost smell the unmistakable scent of salt and damp wood, as if the waves had seeped into his room. He focused on the sounds. the ebb and flow of the waves, the distant cries of seagulls, and the whisper of the wind rustling the curtains. He even remembered the tiny hole in the wall where his grandfather had hung his favorite painting. A picture he had painted himself of a golden fish swimming in an endless sea. With every detail, Noh felt closer to that place. His skin tingled as he sensed the sea breeze brushing against his face and the creak of old wood beneath his feet. Then, as he opened his eyes within his dream, he found himself standing in his grandfather's house. He looked around in awe. Everything was exactly as he had imagined. Smiling, he took a step forward, knowing he had successfully traveled to the place he loved most. He stood up and saw his painting hanging on the wall, the same one his grandfather had proudly framed. He gazed at the vivid colors of his artwork, and a smile spread across his face. Taking a deep breath, as if he could absorb the salty air his imagination had conjured, he stretched out his hands. At that moment, something magical happened. The brush strokes of his painting began to move. The colors shimmered with an enchanting glow, and suddenly, his artwork came to life. The deep blues of the sea he had painted expanded, filling the entire room, as if an invisible wave had surged out of the canvas. Before him, a ship of 1,000 colors emerged, its sails rippling in the moonlight, and its hull adorned with marine figures that seemed to smile at him. Every brushstroke had become something real, tangible, as if his creativity had the power to turn dreams into reality. With his heart pounding, Noh took a step forward and touched the smooth wood of the helm. He felt the warmth of the ship beneath his fingers, as if it were inviting him to set sail. Without hesitation, he climbed aboard and felt the vessel slowly rise, floating in the air. The room disappeared around him, replaced by an endless starry sky. The constellations twinkled with a special glow, reflecting off the ship's surface like tiny golden sparks. The ship descended gently, gliding through the air as if sailing on invisible waves. Noh felt an indescribable excitement as his vessel floated effortlessly, carried by an unseen current that guided him smoothly toward the sea. Below him, the vast ocean stretched out like a living tapestry, reflecting the moonlight in 1,000 silvery glimmers. When he finally reached the water, a fresh, salty breeze caressed his face, wrapping him in the warmth of his dream. He closed his eyes for a moment and took a deep breath, letting the scent of the sea imprint itself in his memory. The murmur of the waves surrounded him in a hypnotic rhythm, and the distant cries of seagulls completed the perfect melody of that dreamlike world. Around him, the sea lit up with magical flashes, as if submerged stars covered its surface. Suddenly, glowing figures emerged from the depths. Golden fish with iridescent scales danced around him in brilliant circles, while silver dolphins leaped gracefully, tracing arcs in the air. Further ahead, in a hidden corner of the horizon, the silhouettes of mermaids with foamy hair swayed between the waves, singing sweet melodies that filled the air with an indescribable magic. Noh reached out and brushed the water's surface, feeling its coolness and vibrant energy. His ship glided smoothly, carrying him through that marine realm where anything was possible, where his imagination had the power to create infinite worlds. He knew this was just one of many nights, a journey he could repeat every time he closed his eyes and let his heart guide him back to the sea. There, among the waves, golden fish leaped beside him, dolphins accompanied him with graceful jumps, and in the distance, the mermaids sang their sweet melodies. Noh sailed across the seas of his imagination, traveling beyond the horizon where anything was possible. Every night, as he closed his eyes, Noh returned to his grandfather's village. At first, he thought it was just a dream, but over time, he realized it was much more than that. He understood that his mind had the power to take him anywhere he wished, that his imagination was a bridge to any place he desired to visit. He learned that it didn't matter where his body was, because his thoughts could travel without limits. He marveled at the discovery that he only needed to remember the colors, the scents, and the sounds to instantly transport himself to the shore of the sea. Every detail he imagined with intensity came to life in his inner world, allowing him to feel the sand beneath his feet, the salty water on his skin, and the wind in his hair. With this newfound certainty, Noh realized he could expand his journeys beyond anything he had ever imagined. Not only did he return to his grandfather's village, but he could also sail to hidden islands, explore the ocean depths alongside glowing creatures, or soar above the sea accompanied by seagulls. Each night, his imagination offered him a new adventure, a new place to discover. And so, he understood that the power of his mind had no boundaries. He could create entire worlds, travel beyond the horizons, and most importantly, keep his love for the sea and his grandfather alive, no matter the distance. His heart, filled with memories and dreams, always slept by the sea, knowing that when he woke up, a new journey would be waiting for him the next night.